Hello and welcome to the part 2 of module 2 CET 201 Mechanics of Solids. Okay, so in this part let's discuss a problem on the topic shear stress and punching shear. A steel punch can operate at a maximum compressive stress of 750 Newton per mm square. Find the minimum diameter of hole which can be punched through a 10 mm thick plate. Assume ultimate shear stress of the material as 375 Newton per mm square. So in this question we have it is given that there is two types of stresses, that is maximum compressive stress and its value is 750 Newton per mm square, which is required for punching the hole, and the next one is the ultimate shear stress. Okay. Now, what do you mean by compressive stress? That is a load required for punching divided by area of hole. So that's equal to stress, that is 750 is equal to load divided by area. Okay, the diameter which is not given in the question, that is the unknown term that we have to find out. Okay, so we can find out the value of load from the compressive stress, that is load is equal to 750 into pi by 4 d square. Now it is given that the ultimate shear stress is 375 Newton per mm square. So what is ultimate shear stress? Which is also force divided by area. Area is 2 pi r into t or pi d into t, since it is a shear stress value. Okay. Now we can find out the value of load from that equation, that is load which is equal to pi d into t. T is the thickness of the plate where it is given as 10 mm. So pi d into 10 into 375. So we can equate the values of two loads, that is 750 into pi by 4 d square is equal to pi d into 10 into 375. So by using this equation we can find out the value of diameter as 20 mm. On to the next topic, that is relation between elastic constants. Okay, so in the first module we discussed on Young's modulus and also bulk modulus and also rigidity modulus or shear modulus. So now we have to establish a relationship between these three constants in the second module. So we discussed in the theory part. Now we are going to solve some problems regarding the relationship between the elastic constants. So first question, in an experiment a bar of 30 mm diameter is subjected to a pull of 60 kilonewton. The measured extension on a gauge length of 200 mm is 0.09 mm and the change in diameter is 0.0039 mm. Calculate Poisson's ratio and the value of 3 moduli. Okay. So first of all, in an experiment, a bar of 30 mm diameter is subjected to a pull of 60 kilonewton. So that the measured extension on the gauge length of 200 mm is 0.09 mm and the change in diameter which is given as 0.0039 mm. Okay, so what will be the lateral strain and what will be the longitudinal strain? So we can know there is a pull is applied. That means a tensile force. So as a tensile force is applied, the longitudinal strain will be the increase in dimension. So in the question, the measured extension on a gauge length which is given as 0.09 mm. So it is clear that the length is increases, so that the longitudinal strain will be delta L divided by L. And what about the lateral strain? That is the change in diameter divided by original diameter. So that is 0.0039 divided by 30 will be the lateral strain. So the Poisson's ratio mu, which is equal to lateral strain divided by longitudinal strain, and that's equal to 0.029. Okay, now we have to find out the value of three moduli of modulus of elasticity, that is Young's modulus, bulk modulus and rigidity modulus. So for that, first of all let's find out the value of Young's modulus. So what is Young's modulus? It is stress divided by strain, and stress is equal to load by area. Load is given in the question, area can let's find out. So stress is equal to load by area, and that's equal to 84.883 Newton per mm square. Okay, so we obtain the value of stress. Now strain. What do you mean by strain? Which is the longitudinal strain, and we got the value as delta L divided by L, and which is equal to 4.5 into 10 raised to minus 4. So we know the value of stress and also strain. So just divide stress divided by strain, and you will get the value of Young's modulus as 1.88 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. So now we have the relationship between Young's modulus and bulk modulus as E is equal to 3k into 1 minus 2 mu, where E is Young's modulus, K is bulk modulus, and mu is the Poisson's ratio, which can also be represented as 1 by m. Okay, so E, the value we obtained earlier, that's equal to 1.88 into 10 raised to 5, that's equal to 3 into K, that into 1 minus 2 into mu. Mu is the Poisson's ratio, we obtained it as 0.29. So just apply the values and find out the value of K, which is equal to 1.49 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. Now we have to find out the value of shear modulus. So for that we have the relationship between E is equal to 2G into 1 plus mu, where E is the Young's modulus and G is the shear modulus and mu is the Poisson's ratio. Just apply all these values and find out the value of shear modulus G as 7.28 into 10 raised to 4 Newton per mm square. Okay. Now I will read the question. A bar of rectangular cross section 20 by 50 mm is 400 mm long and is subjected to an axial tensile load of 80 kN. If the modulus of elasticity and modulus of rigidity of the material of the bar are 1 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square and 0.4 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square respectively, find the bulk modulus and also the change in dimensions and oleum. Okay, so in this question it is a rectangular cross section bar which is given, and so the dimensions B, which is equal to 20 mm, and D, which is equal to 50 mm, and also length L is equal to 400 mm. So which is subjected to an axial tensile load, that is P is equal to 80 kN, and E value which is given as 1 into 10 raised to 5, and C or N or G which is given as 0.4 into 10 raised to 5. So we have to find out the value of bulk modulus, and that is K, and the change in dimensions, that is change in length, change in breadth, and change in depth, and also the change in oleum. Okay. So write down the given data, and after that we can use the relationship between Young's modulus and shear modulus, that is E is equal to 2G into 1 plus mu for the calculation of this Poisson's ratio. So from that you will obtain the value of Poisson's ratio as 0.25. Now what is Poisson's ratio? Lateral strain divided by longitudinal strain. Okay, we got the value of Poisson's ratio, and we have a relationship between Young's modulus and bulk modulus. So that equate, write down the equation and find out the value of bulk modulus. Okay, now bulk modulus K is equal to 0.66 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. Now we know the value of Young's modulus and bulk modulus and also shear modulus. Now E is equal to stress divided by strain. We know we can find out the value of stress by using the equation stress is equal to load divided by area, and also strain, that's equal to stress divided by Young's modulus. So you will obtain the value of strain, and here the strain is longitudinal strain. So longitudinal strain which is obtained from this equation, which is 8 into 10 raised to minus 4. So we know the value of Poisson's ratio, so that lateral strain is equal to mu into longitudinal strain, and which is obtained as 2 into 10 raised to minus 4, where lateral dimensions are, which is the lateral dimension which is breadth or depth, and the longitudinal dimension which is delta L divided by L. So the lateral strain which is equal to 8 into 10 raised to minus 4, that is delta L divided by L. And next, delta B by B or delta D divided by D, which is equal to lateral strain, that is 2 into 10 raised to minus 4. So that delta L is equal to length into 8 into 10 raised to minus 4, which is equal to 0.32 mm. So now you got the value for change in length. Now the value for change in breadth and change in depth can be found out by using the equation of lateral strain, that is delta B by B is equal to 2 into 10 raised to minus 4. So that delta B equal to 4 into minus 10 raised to minus 3 mm, and delta D equal to 0.01 mm. Now the change in oleum, which can be found out by using the equation BD into delta L plus LD into minus delta B plus LB into minus delta D, where delta L, which is positive, since it is because the length is increases while the breadth and depth which is decreases, so that we can put a negative sign on breadth and depth. So apply the values in this equation and find out the value of change in oleum. So we got the values for change in dimensions and change in oleum, and also the bulk modulus values. Okay. Now the next topic is strain energy stored in a bar, which is the total energy for doing a particular work, and which is stored as internal energy in a bar. So the equation for strain energy, which is sigma square divided by 2E into volume of the bar, where sigma is the stress and E is the Young's modulus and V is the volume of the bar. So let's discuss a problem. A cylindrical bar with two sections of length 50 centimeter and 25 centimeter and diameters 20 mm and 15 mm respectively is subjected to an axial pull such that the maximum stress is 150 meganewton per meter square. Calculate the strain energy stored in the bar, where E equal to 200 giganewton per meter square. So here you can see the question, which is having two sections of different diameters, that is 20 mm and 15 mm. So it is given in the question that it is a clue that is the maximum stress is 150 meganewton per meter square. So what is stress? Stress is load divided by area. So the section which is having lesser area will be having the maximum stress value. So here you can see first one is of 20 mm dia and the second one is of 15 mm dia. So the section which is having lesser area will be 15 mm dia section. So that will have the maximum stress value. So from that we can find out the value of load, that is stress is equal to load divided by area, that is 150 meganewton per meter square is equal to load divided by area of the second section. Okay, from that load we can find out. Okay, now so that the load is equal to 150 into pi by 4 into 15 square, that is load P is equal to 26.493 kilonewton. Okay, now we have to find out the value of strain energy for the two different sections. For that we have the stress value for the second section, and we do not have the stress value for the first section. So find out the value of stress for the section 1 first. Okay, so what is sigma 1? Sigma 1 is equal to load divided by area, and that's equal to load is same for both the sections. So load, which is 26.493 kilonewton, and that divided by area, you will get the value of minimum stress. So we know the diameter for the first section, which is 20 mm. So pi by 4 into d square will be the area for the first section, so that the minimum stress or the stress induced on the first section, which is 84.37 newton per mm square. So we have the values for stress for both the section, and we know the equation for strain energy. Strain energy is equal to sigma square divided by 2E into volume. E is given in the question. Volume can be found out by using the equation area into length. That is, area we can find out, we already found out, and length which is given in the question. Okay, so that's equal to sigma square divided by 2 into E into area into length, plus this one is for first section, and second one it is sigma square divided by 2 into E into area into length. Okay, so that the total strain energy stored in the bar, which is equal to 5280.73 newton mm. The unit of strain energy is newton mm. Okay, now another problem. A uniform metal bar has a cross-sectional area of 600 mm square and a length of 2 meter. If the stress at the elastic limit is 170 Newton per mm square, what will be its proof resilience? Proof resilience is nothing but the total strain energy stored in the bar. Determine also the maximum value of an applied load which can be suddenly applied without exceeding the elastic limit. So we already know there is two kinds of loading, that is three kinds of loading, that is sudden loading, then impact loading, then gradually applied loading. Okay, so first case, determine also the maximum value of applied load which can be suddenly suddenly applied. So in this case, the suddenly applied case. Next is to calculate the value of gradually applied load which will produce the same extension as that produced by the suddenly applied load determined earlier. Okay, now so let's write down the given data. The area of cross section of the bar, which is area, is equal to 600 mm square, and length, which is equal to 2000 mm. Now the volume can be found out by area into length, that is 600 into 2000. So we obtained it as 1200000 mm cube. Now we can find out the value of stress that is required for finding the proof resilience value, which is equal to stress which is given in the question as 170 Newton per mm square. Now modulus of elasticity is also given in the question as 2 into 10 raised to 5. So it is not given in the question. If Young's modulus value is not given in the question, you can assume it as 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. Now what is proof resilience? It is a strain energy stored in the bar. So it is sigma square divided by 2E into volume. So that 170 square divided by 2E into volume of the bar. So you got the value of proof resilience as 86.7 Newton meters. Okay. Now we have to find out the value of gradually applied load. Okay. So the equation for gradually applied load and suddenly applied load. For suddenly applied load, sigma is equal to 2P by A. We know the value for sigma and we have to find out the value of P. That is P is equal to sigma into A divided by 2 for the suddenly applied load. And if the load is gradually applied, the equation will be sigma equal to P1 by A, so that P1 equal to sigma into A. So find out the values of load for the two different cases. For the suddenly applied load, the equation is sigma equal to 2P by A, and for the gradually applied load, the equation is sigma equal to P divided by A. Okay, that means the stress will be double if the load is applied suddenly. Okay. So another problem. A tensile load of 80 kN is applied suddenly to a circular bar of 50 mm diameter and 4 meter long. Determine the maximum instantaneous stress induced, then the instantaneous elongation in the bar. Next one, the strain energy absorbed in the bar. Given E equal to 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. So it is given in the question that the diameter of the bar is 50 mm. Area of cross section can be found out by using this diameter, and which is obtained as 1962.5 mm square. Now the length of the bar, which is equal to 4 meter, that is 4000 mm. Now the volume of bar, which is area into length, so that which is equal to 785,000 mm cube. So here we have to find out the value of maximum instantaneous stress induced. Okay, so what is the value of maximum instantaneous stress produced? It will be produced when the load is applied suddenly. That means the maximum instantaneous stress will be occur when the load is applied suddenly, which is 2 times more than that of a load which is applied gradually. Okay, so that the maximum instantaneous stress produced is equal to sigma equal to 2P divided by A, that's equal to 2 into P divided by A. So you will obtain sigma as 81.53 Newton per mm square. Okay, now the instantaneous elongation of the bar. If you know the value of stress, now the elongation can be found out by using sigma L divided by E. Okay, that is sigma into L divided by E, which is equal to 1.63 mm. Now the third case is a strain energy absorbed in the bar. So the equation for strain energy is sigma divided by 2E into volume. We know the value for sigma and E and also for V. So that which is equal to 130.45 Newton meters. Okay. Now it's a problem regarding the impact loading. A vertically suspended bar with collar at lower end has 30 mm diameter. If a tensile load of 7500 Newton is applied gradually, it produces an extension of 0.3 mm. Okay, determine the height from which the load should be dropped to produce a maximum stress of 100 Newton per mm square. So which is a vertically suspended bar with a collar. So identify the problem which is having impact loading. Okay, now the load applied is equal to 7500 Newton. Now the diameter of the bar, which is D, is equal to 30 mm. Now the area of cross section of the bar, which is A, that's equal to 706.5 mm square. Now the extension due to load, that is delta L, equal to 0.3 mm. So in the question it is given that the tensile load which is applied gradually and produces an extension of 0.3 mm. So the load is applied, that is Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain. So which is stress is P by A and strain is delta L divided by L. So we can find out the length of the bar. So that the length of the bar is equal to 5652 mm. So the length was not given in the question, so we found out the value of length as 5652 mm. Now we have to find out the value of height over which it is to be fall. That is the length, let the load P is equal to 7500 Newton falls from a height h mm. So the stress due to the falling weight, which is equal to 100 Newton per mm square. Now the stress, the equation for stress is equal to P by A into 1 plus square root of 1 plus 2 A E H divided by P into L. Okay. So where sigma is the stress and P is the load value, which is 7500, that divided by area, which is 706.5, we found out, into 1 plus square root of 1 plus 2 into A into E into H, where H is the height of fall, that divided by P into L, which we found out in the previous step. Okay. So simplify the equation. For that, squaring on both sides and simplify. So you will get the value of height of fall as 10.48 mm. Okay. So hope you all understood this section. Thank you. So let's see with the next part of the video. Okay. Thank you all. Bye.